it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead, and I'm sorry I missed yesterday's reading. I've just been very busy, but I'm back again tonight. So we're reading out of the book Ghost of the Moaning Mansion. This is a D.J. Dillon series book by Lee Roddy, and I'm really enjoying it. So last time I read, DJ had got a threatening warning by someone who he just happened to see the face when he was at the mansion down by the barns. So we'll continue for now. Chapter 5, The Clue to Grandpa's Disappearance. The friends tried to walk casually toward the barn, but DJ's heart was racing with excitement. I recognized him. It's Hatchet, the real estate man. Alfred gave a low whistle. Why did he do that? I don't know, unless maybe he's seen Grandpa. Then why wouldn't have he told us that instead of trying to scare us off? I don't have any idea. Well, this warning sure scared me. I'm ready to get out of here. Me too, in a way, DJ agreed. But it also makes me want to be sure that Grandpa's around here somewhere. If only we could find a clue. Alfred asked, "Are you going to tell your father what Mr. Hatchet said?" "Soon as I can." "Well, here's the barn. Let's take a look inside casual-like and then get back to the house. I want to talk to Dad privately." There's no need of scaring anybody who lives here. The boys paused outside the sliding wooden door in the red barn. Their eyes automatically checked the tracks in the dust between the concrete walkway and the door. "No dog," Alfred said. "No cats." "No pets?" DJ agreed. "But what kind of track is that?" Both boys bent to examine where DJ was pointing. "Sort of looks like a pig's hoof or a deer's," Alfred mused. "Only it's not all there, only half. Maybe a crippled animal?" DJ knew animal tracks the way he knew the letters of the alphabet. He shook his head and got down on his knees and put his face close to the strange track. "Not an animal," DJ announced, still studying the impression. "Man-made. See how rounded it is? Sort of like half of a hay." DJ leaped to his feet. Alfred jumped back in surprise. "What's the matter?" "I know what it is." "What? Tell me." "It was made by my grandfather's Irish shillelagh." "What?" "Alfred, he's been here. Grandpa's been here, I tell you." DJ left Alfred by the tracks to keep anyone from accidentally erasing them while DJ went to get his father. In the excitement about finding the track, DJ forgot to tell Dad Dillon about the real estate man's warning. Instead, the boy excitedly recalled when Grandpa decided to chase the ghosts for Mrs. Keene. Grandpa's cane slipped on the floor of his home and he almost fell. DJ concluded, "Dad, that's when Grandpa showed me the rubber tip of the Irish shillelagh had cracked. He was going to get it replaced, but I'm sure this track here was made by that split end of his cane." Sam Dillon bent to examine the tracks both boys had pointed out. Slowly, Dad stood up and shook his head. You're an awful good tracker, DJ, but with just one track? I tell you, Grandpa was here, but the people denied it. Why? Because they're lying, that's why. They've got Grandpa hidden somewhere. Or at least one of them has, Alfred added. Did you tell your father about the warning? Warning? Dad asked with concern. What warning? I forgot to tell you, DJ replied lamely. He quickly reported about the man behind the cedar tree. You sure it was Hatchet? Dad asked, gazing towards the house. I'm sure, DJ replied. Dad was thoughtful a moment. Well, I'd better not take any chances. We'd better not take any chances, that is. Let's clear out. Then I'll come back and talk to that Hatchet myself. He warned us not to tell anybody, Dad. I'm going to do what I've got to do, DJ. Aw, Dad, nothing's going to happen while it's still light and all of us here. So why can't Alfred and I look around some more before we leave? Yeah, Alfred cried. Maybe we can find some sign of that old tunnel or cave or whatever it was the Colonel kept slaves in after the Civil War. Maybe that's where Grandpa Dillon is being kept. Dad's voice was tinged with annoyance. That's all just tall tale stuff, boys. Your imaginations are running away with you. There's probably no such thing as a tunnel or cave, and never was. Could we look around? Huh, Dad? If we stay in sight so you can see us every second? Dad nodded slowly. You come when I honk the car horn and stay in sight every second. You hear me? The boys agreed and continued their explorations. They started with the barn because it was the closest. They slid the heavy door open enough to squeeze through the opening, but still stay where Mr. Dillon could see them. The great structure was empty and gloomy. There wasn't even any hay. Pigeons exploded from the high loft, startling the boys. The birds flapped noisily in alarm through the top opening of where the hay fork still hung unused for years. The building was huge, was lit only by winter sunbeams squeezing through the cracks and knotholes in the western side. In the gloom, DJ could make out some parts of old farm machinery. Dusty license plates were nailed to the wall. No place to hide in there, Alfred said as the boys stepped back into the yard and slid the big barn door shut. Let's try the chicken house, the garage, the hen house, and any other buildings we can find. Those searches also yielded nothing, leading the boys to one logical conclusion. If Grandpa was here, he was somewhere in or under the mansion. There was no way the boys could explore that themselves. Too bad we can't stay overnight, DJ observed as he led the way towards the bluff overlooking the river. Then we could explore the third floor and the cellar. If there's a secret tunnel or anything, it'll probably have hidden treasure, Alfred said. DJ wasn't sure if that was logical or just something in his friend's imagination. As DJ thought about it, the boys came up to the top of the bluff. The river was a silver ribbon far below. Alfred kicked a boot heel on the top of the bluff. This is almost straight down. Could they have dug a tunnel in the bank like gold miners' shaft? Huh? DJ turned to look at the mansion. I suppose the tunnel could run from here to under the house. The hard rock miners did a lot of things harder than that. Hey, what do you say we get Hero and let him nose around, see if he can pick up Grandpa's scent? Hero's a bear dog, not a bloodhound, Alfred protested. I know, but it won't hurt to give him a little run anyhow. The little hair-pulling bear dog was so glad to be freed from the car, he almost twisted himself in half with joy. DJ snapped the leash into place and let Hero out. He began jumping up in the air, bouncing off DJ's knees and almost knocking him down. Easy, Hero, DJ warned. You're supposed to be on my side. The boys casually walked back to the barn. DJ pulled the dog up to the barn door. For a moment, DJ didn't think Hero was going to do anything. Then he stopped dead. His long, funny nose dropped into the dust. His short tail began twisting like a short propeller gone wild. Hero barked once, a single, sharp, joyful sound. He found it, DJ cried. I told you that Grandpa was here. After the one bark, the dog lifted his muzzle and sniffed toward the river. He whined and strained against his leash. DJ had mixed feelings. Well, now we know for sure Grandpa was here, right? But did he walk away or did someone carry him away? Alfred touched his friend's arm comfortingly. Now don't go getting so upset. We'll find him. Yeah, DJ agreed. Hey, look at Hero. Do you think he smells Grandpa? After all, a cut-across dog does that when he's trailing a bear. I mean, he smells the quarry in the air, in the dust, like a trail hound. We could see where he'd go, Alfred suggested. DJ nodded and extended his arm full length along the leash to fall slack. Okay, Hero, go, go. In a few minutes, the boys had followed the little mutt back to the top of the bluff overlooking the river. The dog whined and wanted to go down the steep bank, but DJ held him in check. We got to go down there. But if we go, we'll be out of Dad's sight. Maybe we don't need to, Alfred said excitedly. He knelt and pointed in some sand off the boy's right. There are more of those funny cane tracks and a man's footprints. DJ bent to examine the new find. No doubt about it, Alfred. That's Grandpa's footprint. And there are a few more cane prints. Now we know Grandpa was here for sure. We've got to find him. But how? Alfred asked, straightening up. We need to find a way to spend the night. Then we can look around without anybody watching us. The boys started back towards the mansion. They were still discussing their find as they passed the barn. Suddenly, Hero gave a low growl and walked stiff-leggedly towards the sliding barn door. Easy, Hero, DJ called, tightening his grip on the leash. What's the matter, huh, boy? DJ slid the barn door open slightly. Hero surged eagerly through the opening, leaping to the end of his leash. The boys stayed at the open doorway and peered into the gloomy interior, their eyes adjusting in the semi-darkness. Hero's wild jump showed the direction they should look. DJ saw the door slide open in the other end of the barn, and a man figure slipped through. "Did you see who it was?" Alfred asked anxiously. Yeah, it was the handyman. Alfred, he was spying on us. Do you suppose he heard what we said as we walked by the barn?" "Hard to say," Alfred admitted. "But why would he spy on us unless he and that man who warned us are together in this mess with Grandpa's disappearance?" DJ calmed Hero down and left the barn door open to step back into the barn yard again. Suddenly, the distant cries of geese and guinea fowl reached the boys. "There's a car coming down the road," DJ said, pointing. "Look, it looks like Brother Paul's." DJ remembered that the lay preacher and his daughter had planned to play tourist at Devil's Law. They'd probably decided to drive out to the mansion since Mrs. Keene was a member of the Sunny Ridge Church where Brother Paul preached. Alfred caught his breath. "Hey, he's sure driving funny. He's weaving all over the road." Friends stared at the distant vehicle straightened out a moment, then cut sharply towards the mansion's gate. "He's going to hit it," Alfred exclaimed. At that same instant, the car braked suddenly and barely nudged the 12-by-12 post. The iron gate shuddered. Kathy jumped out of the car, her cowboy hat trailing on a string behind her reddish hair. She shoved hard at the gate. It opened slightly and she pushed through, then started running towards the mansion. "Something's wrong," DJ cried. "Come on, Alfred. Something's terrible's happened." And that is the end of chapter 5. So tomorrow we will see what's going on. All right, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to pray blessings on you and yours, in your house, out of your house, in the day and the night. Whatever you do, keep dreaming and keep a story in your heart. If you're enjoying these stories, please share it with somebody else so that they can get to hear them and so I can gain some new subscribers. That's the best way you can help me. All right. Good night and God bless you.